Good day, guys. I hope we're all good. I hope we had a blessed weekend. Looking forward to a very peaceful week this week. So, starting off with B1000, we've got one buy position. My reasoning for buying this is if you notice from our previous analysis, prices respected this zone here, right here. So, right now, we're currently above the 13 EMA, and I'm anticipating this to be the next draw in liquidity or the next area where price can potentially go to. So this move might end up playing like this, or it might end up pushing up like this. But intraday, for now, I would say I'm actually bullish. So dropping down to the H4, you can see to our left we've broken some structures. So let's see if we've got any zone we can use. Let me rather use this. Okay, so we've got this high here from last week, which has been broken, and price looks like it has retested that area. Okay, right there, and I'm looking forward for that push up. So all I'm looking for now is confluences to show that actually in the right trade. So let's see to our left again. Just this. Okay, so we can see price is sort of consolidating around this area. This is the retested zone. And around about that area, we also have this high here, or I think it was, I'm not sure if it was the open price, but it's a high from the 2nd of March, right? So if you drag that into the future as well, you notice that it's sort of acting as a support zone on this area here. So that's another confluence I'm using to support my buy. Then going to the M30 again, everything for me shows bullish until we come back below the zone. So I'll hold on to the runner for now. Let's see what we have on M15. Okay, so when I came on M15, what I realized is price came and created a low right on a support zone. Then they pushed up, but they didn't take out this high here. That's one thing we should take note of. Right, they came back, then they came down and retested this support on a moving average. Again, this high has not been taken out. Let me just confirm. Okay, that high still hasn't been taken out, which is today's high. So a safe buy will be when price comes and closes above this level and above this level, right? Once we get it close above, that's a safe buy and we can add positions. So for now, we only have one position, which is a runner, just to get our emotions involved so that we can actually look deeper into this setup. So where can this price retrace to? This price is potentially retracing to this moving average before pushing up. That's number one. Number two, we've got this order block here, so they can still come here, which is also in line with the 50 EMA, right? So those are the two areas where I'm anticipating this price to actually move from. But if we come below the zone or get it close below the 50 EMA, then I'll consider closing my runner. Then I'll wait to see what price wants to do, because they might actually decide to maybe extend the lows by taking out the current low, maybe come to the 200 EMA, which is all possible. Then we'll have to wait for a new pattern to form if they do come to the 200 EMA. So that's another possible scenario there. So this is M15, and I think I'll leave my chart on this time frame just so that we can see how price will be reacting with this zone here. So that's my view for B1000. Nothing too drastic, just trying to keep it simple as well. Then going to C500. I'm so happy we managed to catch some pips yesterday. Actually, we've been catching like a trade almost each day. From here, we caught this On this day, if we traded, I remember we caught one trade on this particular day. We were waiting for price here on this zone. They didn't reverse here, so there was no trade. If there was a trade, it hit stop loss, right? Then yesterday I was watching price. They came here, took out this high by extending it. Then they broke a structure, so we had a sell from this top coming back down. And if you ran a fib, this price also came into a optimal trade entry zone, and we had a nice sell. So what am I looking for today? Today I'm also looking for sells again. So my point of interest, I've got one right here on this moving average, because price might have acceleration. B1, I didn't see the 4-hour analysis. Okay, let me go back to B1 so that you can see it. Okay, there's the 4-hour. Okay, I hope my 4-hour chart is clean. So this is how I'm looking at it. Like I said, we were looking at it from this low, and they ended up. I think this was almost equal lows. This is where this push up started. So as soon as we broke here, that's giving me that a bullish move. So I'm anticipating either to get a reaction here, or for price to extend today's lows, which is visible on H1 going down, which will happen around the 13 EMA right on this red line as well. So they might still come retest here, but at this point I've got one position in already. So yeah, that's my view. So that one position is being lined up or governed by this area. So I'm looking to see how price reacts with this order block, and I'm also looking to see how they react with this current EMA on M15. So if we don't get a reaction here and price closes below here, we're going to close a loss on this one position and wait to see whether they want to take out liquidity here, or they still want to bounce on the same zone. Because if you notice, this is a high from the day before yesterday. So that's also a point of interest. So I hope that's clear there. So going back to C5, my first point of interest is the 50 EMA. Second point of interest is this resistance. So what I'm looking for here is a pattern on a smaller time frame. And what I'm looking for here would be a reaction, like a rejection. So I would have a sell limit here, and here I still want a confirmation of the pattern. So what I'm going to do is, let's see. Okay, you're welcome, bro. You're welcome. So what I'm noticing now is my point of interest on C500 will be 38.10. 38.10 is a sell limit. This is a sell limit based off the zone here, which was broken. And if you see, we had this impulsive move from here to here. So if this is a trend, or if this is a possible trend, if you run a fib right here, you see that that area is lining up with 61.8 fib retracement level. The 50 level is just above the 50 EMA. So this zone here is a sell zone for me. So I'd rather wait for price to get to 38.10 for a sell limit. Then there's a possibility we might just drop from here. So if we're going to drop from current market price, what we need is a confirming pattern, or a confirmation pattern. So on this particular push up, the order block I have is right here. Although it's not a very solid one, I'll think I'll still make use of it. Why I'm making use of it is because this is yesterday's low, which makes this a point of interest. So as soon as we get a close below this area, I'm going to have a sell, and I'm going to target 37.25 as a TP, which is right here. So I need price to come below 37.70, right? So if you get a close below here, I'm taking sells. That's my current view for now. So I'll be targeting anything from 30 to 40 pips on this particular trade, which is within this range. But if this pattern doesn't play out, then price is definitely most likely coming to 38.10. That will be my sell limit on C500. Or B1 supported the EMA. Okay, thanks for that. So let's see again. We want to add positions if price closes above. If we get a close above 13,925. Okay, if we get a close above 13,925, that's where we add. That's where this buy becomes a safe buy in my point of view. So if we get a close, if price comes up, closes above 13.25, that's where I'm going to add my positions. Then in terms of TP, I'm not sure if you saw my TP area. Is this next zone on top here? It's actually quite a good, it can prove to be a good buy if we can hold it. But again, for this particular trade, I'll just be aiming for, if we enter a 13.925, I'll be looking to close my trade at 13.980. I'm just going for 50 pips. I don't usually go for the whole range. I just go for what I know I can get. So I'll be going for 50 pips only, and I'm targeting 13.9. We said 13.9 what? 25. 13.980. That will be my take profit. This is my TP. If this price respects this view we have, this is my TP. That's how I'm viewing it. So new positions above 39.25. Yes, that's correct. You got it right. So once we close above 39.25, we're going to add positions. Then we're going to hold for at least 50 pips. And I feel like soon as we close above 39.25, price will most likely accelerate. We'll get like a good quick push to the upside. So that's what we're looking for. Yesterday, my setup was here on B1. I was looking at this peak and I was looking at this order block as my safe entry. If you notice, we had a deep retracement, but they still respected an order block, and this was the nice buy which happened. So yeah, so B1 will most likely pay us, most likely to pay us. So C5, you spoke about it. C3 has been strong bullish. I don't think we've been trading it because of this explosive push. There were no clean retracements on this particular one. That's the reason why I wasn't really following up on it. Okay, bro, take it. That's why I was not following much on it. Thank you so much for joining today. Thank you, bro. I know you only come for B1. Thank you, thank you. All right, so C3 has been quite bearish. Let's just see if we can get a setup here. Let's see C3. C3, I don't think I have anything solid as well. These pullbacks are too deep. The sells are there, but at this point in time, okay, let me just check the daily. Yeah, you came through. Thanks, bro. Thanks. Much appreciated, man. You should come more often. You should attend these sessions more often. All right. So, yeah. All right. So C3, you can see the daily has been very bearish. 1, 2, 3, 3 strong days of push down, 2 days of a pullback. Continuation to the downside. All right, let's see. I don't have anything too solid here. This push down can simply continue. Is this all-time lows which this price is setting? Okay, so this price looks like it's setting all-time lows, and I'm still anticipating an explosive push down. So if you look at it from the monthly, you see that we had a very strong impulsive push, small retracement, took out this low, small retracement. We might get acceleration here just to set those new lows before price starts to retrace. So from a weekly view, from a monthly view, eventually we're going to get a strong bullish run on C3 at some point. But for now, we definitely should see this price extending the lows. So Sunday, Monday, let's see. Let's see, this is a point of interest. So now I've got a bias from a higher time frame. It makes it a bit easier to look for points of interest. So when I drop to H1, 23, let's use 23, 25, 24, 25, 24, 25. 24, 25 is a resistance zone. And we also have the 50 EMA right there. So let's see if we can run a fib again. If you run a fib, it's looking something like this. Okay, from this high here, the reason I'm not using this high is because this is the last high which broke this particular low. So I want to use this in this low here, since we're getting a bit of a deeper pullback there. So there is a chance they might just respect 38.2 because this is also a resistance, although it might be weak. I would love to see price do a stop hand above this high here or above this level here, which would take us into our point of interest. So if price can pull back, extend today's highs, I'll be looking forward for a sell between 24.10 and 24.20. So between 24.10 and 24.20, that's my point of interest for a sell. The take profit is open because this price is creating all-time lows. So if we do respect this area, I just expect it to drop. Potentially we'll be targeting these lows, of course, but then if they do break, the take profit is open and we'll just see how this plays out. So just passing by B1 to check it. Okay, going to C1. C1, I remember yesterday I didn't share the signal, but I was looking at this peak and this order block. So I want to show you an example of a failed pattern. An example of a failed pattern is when you get a setup, but it doesn't play out fully as it usually does. So if you've been following my sessions, you see that I look for the same pattern when I'm about to execute. This pattern played out without a retest initially. So the first sell was perfect. The second sell now, when price came to retest the broken order block, is where price sort of played around. So I had a fresh peak created and a fresh order block here. As you see, it's marked. This is usually my safe sell area because I look for when we're coming from the peak, I want price to break, retest, then drop. So if you noticed, we broke, sort of retested here, but we failed to continue pushing down. So this is an example or an example of a failed pattern. This price eventually pushed back up. So if your stop loss is here, here, or here, it gets taken out. This is also an order block here, but if you see, it failed to hold price and price remained got bullish, came back, took out yesterday's high today, created a fresh peak here. So are we going down or are we going up? For now, it's still tricky, but I would love to lean on sales. So let's see how we are looking from a higher time frame. So from the weekly, let's see, is this all-time lows as well? This is not all-time lows, but we are very close to this support level here, which is on 54.43 area. We have a support zone there. So weekly, we might get bearish, push down there. That's possible. From the daily, price has been moving sideways for the past 1, 2, 3. Today is day number 4. What could happen here? Are we coming back up here to retest this zone before we sell? That is a possibility. This price can potentially push up to areas around 59.30, 59.35, all the way to 59.70, right? So this for me is a high probability sell zone for a continuation of this trend. So we have a high, a lower high, sorry, a lower, okay, I'm saying it wrong. We've got a high, a low, a lower high, a lower low here. So if we have momentum, this price will just drop, right? But if price is moving like we see here with a nice deep retracement, we would love to see it retrace to create a lower high somewhere, either here or maybe worst case scenario on the 50 EMA, slightly above that zone. Then we need to see it still tumbling back down, going all the way to that is it a weekly or monthly zone 54.40 area on the bottom here. That's the current view I have on it now. So right now I'm open to see price retracing all the way up to the 50 EMA here. So 59, from 59, I would love to see 59.20. From 59.20 all the way to 59.60. So it's a 40 pip range where we want to see price get into. Give us a rejection or a selling candle, then we look for a pattern to sell. So I would say for me, that's my high probability sell zone. If we come to M15 now and we look to the left, I want you to notice how price is respecting this particular order block here, which was broken from the H1 time frame. So you look to your left, we've got a high here, a peak. Liquidity was taken here, the sell happened. Price started to fall. They came back up to take liquidity, but didn't quite touch the zone, right? They still sold, broke a structure, meaning the selling momentum was high. That's why I wanted to sell here, even though we had a failed setup. So looking into the price now is reacted into this order block. So I'm looking to see how they respond or react around this area. So there's two probabilities. Like I said, they can push up to our point of interest, or we can get acceleration down, because the price action we have here sort of lines up with a potential sell. So this is a potential sell. And again, this is a trap area also, because you see now the moving averages are here, and they could get a bit choppy. We just have to wait and see how they handle this area. So at the same time, I would say a safer sell would be if price comes back below the zone. Where is this zone coming from? This zone is just coming from this broken order block here, which was retested here. Price came above. So they might come touch, then push up. So I don't want to sell too early because this price might be bullish. So my safe sell will be when price breaks this level here. So anything below 58.35, I might consider selling it. That will be a safe sell. Excuse me, from my point of view. 58.35 is my only view there. Then B500. B500, yesterday I looked at it. It was coming from this peak. I didn't consider this order block. I considered this one. So this was going to be my safe sell. But if you also notice, there's quite a big move or a big range between the peak and the order block, which I chose. So by the time the price came back above, it had already exhausted its momentum here, and it was retracing. And if you also notice, they were reacting off this zone now, and price here was leaning rather to the sell side. So I didn't really take this, and I didn't share it as well because it wasn't too solid. But if you notice now, they came and respected this order block from this peak, and they actually gave a good short-term buy, and this could have been the target right there. So today, again, more or less the same thing. They're sort of going in a range. So if you notice from this high and this low, we're still in that particular range there. And with the way B5 moves, you know, I always complain about it. So I'm not really in a rush to get a trade. I'll consider buys above this zone, which is just drawn. So let me just shade it up. I'll consider buys above, maybe above 5,900. That's when I'll start considering buys. I might consider buys at the bottom of this range, which is around 5,800. So I want to see how price will react with today's lows, because right below these lows, there's liquidity. That's the first thing. Of course, here we have this order block. So let me just also highlight this order block, because it might still hold price within that range. So whatever you think might happen, usually, most of the times, that is what will exactly happen. So if you're looking at a chart and you feel like price might do something, write it on your notes. Trust me, 80, 90% of the times, price will do exactly that. So I would say for me to buy this, either price will be above 5,900, which is outside this range, or price will be anyway within this order block here, which is coming from here. Since it's been respected twice, it might be respected a third time, and price might still run here to complete this range. Or they might decide, because remember, this algo knows these people who have buy was that a buy limit here. There's people with buy limits, and if you have a buy limit here, there's 100% chance that your stop loss is below these zones. So what happens is when this algo runs here and there's a lot of orders, they might extend that level, taking out stops here and reacting from this area now. But again, for us to actually get a good trade, we will need proper confirmation. Every time you see moving averages coming between your price, just know either the market is choppy or it's in a range. So if the market is choppy or in a range, we do not use moving averages for anything. We totally ignore them and we strictly use price action. So what we need is a reaction here or here or here. Those are my two spots. I'm not even going to look at a higher time frame because I'm just going to focus on what's happening on this particular intraday zone, because this is coming from yesterday, mind you. So we're not really expecting anything big. Let me just check the pips here. 60 pips. It's actually a good range, or a good pips within this small range. So I'll just leave this one on M15. Quickly checking B1. B1 is still promising, even though it's sort of slowed down. So I still want to see them. I still can't touch. Remember, we drew this order block there from M15. So it's still a point of interest. If you drop down to M5, you see that price hasn't touched it. Yeah, they also haven't touched this order block. So they might still come down here, then push up. We still have faith in our runner, and when we break our safe entry price, we are going to end. Right. So going to J10, it has been strong bullish, strong bullish. What are we looking for here? I feel this price will eventually get to the 800 moving average, which is up here. That's the first thing. So after this impulsive move, which we see on the daily, what are we looking for? We're looking for a possible retracement, but at the same time, I want you to notice that you see there's a fib in there. I was looking for entries to get into this trade, but I didn't. There's been so much acceleration. So if price is accelerating, there is hardly any visible retracements. The retracements might just be something like this. So you get an explosive push, then price takes a breather. It doesn't retrace. It just like goes sideways. Then it pushes up, try to retrace here, pushed up, a breather, going sideways, pushed up. So what will happen here is, are they going to continue pushing up, or are they going to give us a retracement? So such price action, personally for me, it's hard to get an entry when the market is accelerating, because there is so many entry points. What I mean is, from where price started, right? They pushed, we have a demand zone here, demand zone here, demand zone here. This, at least it was respected. We've got a demand zone here. So are they going to respect this and push up, or are they going to break it and come back here, or are they going to break it again and come here? Because this is such a large impulsive move on a weekly chart. So we have no idea how they want to play this. So setups like these, I would say rather watch to see how price acts. That's the best way to tackle such a scenario. But after all has been said and done, I'm still looking for a deeper retracement. So potentially, maybe price will retrace all the way to the 50 EMA, which is around this area, or the 32 area, which is around here. So many areas where they can respect. So I do not think I've got anything too solid on J10. If price action is like this, I'd rather leave it and wait to see how the dealer wants to play it. Then going to V2501S, I remember I was looking for a sell here on this resistance. They spiked up. We had a nice sell. If you look, this is H4, meaning on the intraday, the sell was actually not that bad. But at the same time, it didn't follow through. Rather, the trend almost started respecting this level. And now they are delivering price to the top side. Are they going to come into this fair value gap here? Possible. Are they going to come into the 200 EMA? Possible. The fact that it's very close to the fair value gap here makes that zone a very high probability area where price can actually push towards. So if we're pushing up from here, maybe let's push to H1, or maybe let's go back to H4. I want to see if I can run a fib. So if I run a fib, my price action is looking more like this. I'm looking for an entry to go long, right? So again, I try to keep it simple. I've got equal lows here, broken structure, right? So after we break this high, now we've got a higher high. We've got a low here, now we've got a higher low, higher high, almost equal lows, but a higher low, a higher high. So we need a higher low anyway in this area for us to be able to see price coming in. So if they deliver it nicely, we might still catch an entry in here, or they could just push from where they are and come up. So when we drop down to smaller time frames, we're looking for potential entries to get into this trade. So again, if you notice, excuse me, this area is a potential demand zone right there. So price can still retrace down, like I said, into this area, then we can get a buy. But at the same time, we had a 1350 cross, price rejected the 50 level on the 38. So they could go up, which is also a possibility. So if we don't want to miss this particular trade, where can we buy? I would say just above this this H1 candle here. That's where I would prefer to look for buys here around 58888. 58888. If we get a nice close above here, I'll consider taking this buy going up. That's my current view of it. And besides that, they might come around today's lows, completed maybe a W pattern, then we can take a buy. And if you also notice, this is a peak, right? If this is the peak, where is the order block? The order block is somewhere in this area, which makes our safe buy a high probability price comes closes above that area. So if you drop down to M15 now, drop down to M15 again, you see that's where our peak is and our order block is right here. But the price action is so much choppy in there in such a way that I want to use this area as a safe entry. But at the same time, remember, price might come, spike it, push back down, then push up. So that's one thing you should know. Any level which I deem a safe entry, yes, it's a safe entry, but be open to a retracement. Sometimes the retracements are deep. Sometimes safe entry triggers and price accelerates. Those are all just variations to how the price moves. If you notice, I added V75 to my watch list. This was just because a friend of mine asked me for my view on V75. And the way I explained this one, they were looking for buys, right? And I told them, no, this price has been sort of choppy, but we're within a range. You can see I drew the range. The best entry will come when we exit the range, right? And this is what happened. So this is a nice sell motion outside this range, right? That's what happened. The buy didn't really play through. There was a short-term buy. When did we discuss this? Was it on Saturday? I think it was Saturday. So the short-term buy happened, but you see they came and they were held here. An area which we would call a safe entry for buys actually held the price, and price continued to push down, right? You can see we were trading below the 50 EMA, meaning trend-wise, we were leaning on the sell side, even though the price action in there was too choppy. Safe sell eventually happened outside the range. So this one, I don't really talk about it because I do not trade it. But if you're watching this and you trade it, then I would say, okay, again, if you notice on the weekly, I had drawn this rectangle here, and I was like, you see, if you're on the weekly chart, what you see is the past weeks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks, price has been in a sideways move, almost in consolidation. So it looks like this is a continuation to the downside. Price has just been taking a breather here, and we could get a huge momentum to the downside. That's one way to look at it. So that's possible. If you are looking for entries to sell, an entry would have been at today's retest. You see this low here, how price just touched it yesterday at the open. That would have been the best entry for a sell. So are we going to get another potential entry? I'm really not sure, but let's see. Okay, so price opens today, came down, came to touch that zone on the daily. They've been delivering price with the downside. So a lower low, lower high, lower low. Can we get a lower high and sell? Possible. This price is also showing signs of coming to the extremes, either showing a huge momentum is about to come, or the run here is done and price might retrace back up. That's also possible. So I would say short term, let me look at M15. If you want to go short on V75, I would say maybe look for a reaction around this area. That's the first thing. This is also a flip zone sell area. So meaning price can pass this and come and react around this area for a continuation down. But if this price comes above this, if from this price we come like this, then we're definitely pushing back up here. So I would love to be very cautious with it. Maybe wait for today's candle to close just to see if these sales are actually valid, or it's just going to give like a spike on the daily candle and start pushing back up. So it's still a bit debatable. Those who trade V75 can maybe share their views, and we can see from their point of view how they are trading it. Personally, I don't trade it, and I was just giving my view on it. So that's it from me today. I've got nothing much. Okay, B5. Okay, I would rather wait for price to get into my zone. But just take note, sometimes price react slightly above a zone. That will be a miss. Do not chase a moving train. B1 still pushing down. I would say B1 for now is my only setup. But C5, I would love to put my money on C5. The way it's moving, remember our safe sell is below this zone here. Looks like we've got a nice shark fin here. Shark fin hold the Mayo. The Mayo is the 200 EMA for those who follow BTMM. So this could also play out. So keeping my eyes on C5 and B1000, I'm just managing it to see how they want to act here. My runner was at the top here, so it's already in quite some drawdown. So I just want to see if they will respect this area. If they violate this area and continue pushing down, I'll cut my loss here. Then I'll put my focus on C500. So that's it from me. Hope today's session is helpful. Wishing everybody a very peaceful week. Good trading.